Welcome to Elevated Dialogue, where today's topic is Unleash Your Potential, Mastering Male Productivity, the ultimate destination for men seeking to take control of their lives and harness their full potential through the power of productivity. In today's fast paced world, it's crucial for men to maximize their efficiency, whether it's in their careers, personal lives, or overall well being. The Unkle Junior Network is your go to resource for practical insight, expert advice, and actionable tips to help you supercharge your productivity and become the best version of yourself. Gentlemen, Antoine, the other artist, how are you doing today? Across the table with Christopher McClellan, the angry guy that is still listening. How are you? And Victor Vizian, Mr. Accountable Masculinity, two-time best author. How are you doing too?
I'm doing great, maintaining, picking my
Man,
struggles.
They're picking
I'm
my
glad to
struggles.
hear. I get that.
Picking
I
my
thought
fights and picking my struggles, man.
I thought Antoine was gonna come in yelling.
I
I
was
thought,
actually, man.
It's
see,
early.
I was like, because he didn't have his camera. It's the first time we seeing Antoine. So,
Sorry about that.
no, it's
Yeah,
okay.
it's late today. My bad.
Hey, real talk. I'm gonna shift real quick. First of all, shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody who's watching at home right now, and I appreciate you being here tonight. We understand that this show wouldn't be possible without you, so appreciate you checking in, following the show, hitting the like button, subscribing, and sharing with someone who you feel may benefit from it. But gentlemen, real quick, I want to speak or talk mental health real quick. I really want to, if you want to share, I kind of want to just talk real quick about how is your mental health if you want to share, and if your mental health is good, what are some of the tangible things that people or our viewers can do, or what do you do to help maintain your mental health if you are saying that your mental health is good? So with that being said, gentlemen, how is your mental health?
Excellente.
Um,
100% good. Fuck that.
I
So
mean,
how do you maintain your mental health or your mental wellness?
Honestly, I really don't care what other people think. Either way,
Hmm.
I'm making my money and the sun will rise. Really don't care what you think. There's nothing you could do to change what I have to do in my life. There's nothing you could say. And even if you're not within my wolf pack, even better. I have enough friends. I got enough loyalty. I got a great family. There is absolutely nothing. You're coming into my world. I'm really not entering yours. That's how I look at it. It's
Yours is
okay.
more so just
It's okay for people not to like you. It's okay. You're not everybody's cup of tea, and you're not the most handsomest, and you ain't no Adonis. People are so sensitive today. They're so sensitive with words and all this shit, and be politically correct. No, if you don't like me, it's okay. As long as you can do business with me and we can exchange something, you go your way, I go mine. We break the bread. We good. That's how people should look at life. You don't need to cuddle with everybody. That's how I look at it.
other
I'm
gentlemen.
getting there. I journal like
Mm.
every night. Every night I sit at my desk. I write out my to-do list for the next day. And then I just write out what I'm thinking. Like I recap the day and then I write out all of my thoughts before I go to sleep. And then I write out my affirmations.
There you go. That's a big one there.
Vic,
um, you know, routine is key. Um, and then trying to balance your, like your routine versus the things that you have to distinguish whether you want to control or not. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't control everything, and the stuff that's outside of that, you compartmentalize. You again, like I say, picking your struggles. You know what I'm saying? Um, because you're gonna always have something. You're gonna be missing, like either time, money, uh, some sort of committed resource, effort. You're gonna complain about giving too much effort to some things, too much time to others, not enough time here. So it's really like, you just have to pick your struggles accordingly. You know what I'm saying? So I'm starting to say that differently, because if you've been around longer than You know, it doesn't even matter how successful you are at something or how bad you are at something. Like, you're gonna have something that you struggle with. You know what I'm saying? So like, uh, people gonna struggle with what they can express and what they can't. Like, Chris says it all the time. We just now getting to the point where we can talk about the things that weren't previously okay to discuss. You know what I'm saying? Have an open conversation about it. So it's still kind of, you know what I'm saying, uh, a struggle to figure out how to have the discussion. You know what I'm saying? And not make it about you, but make it about you too at the same time. So without getting too engulfed in how you feeling in the moment. And you can just tell when people take certain things more personally than they should, and they give things more energy than they should. But if it's important to them in that phase of their life, it's up to you to recognize it's not your business to make other people feel the way that you feel. And my wife said something, you know what I'm saying, real cool to me the other day. She said, people don't agree with you and they don't like you, and that's cool. Most people don't like their instructors. So I take comfort in that.
Man, I feel all y'all. For me, one of the things and kind of how I maintain my mental health, along with what Antoine said, is not really caring. It's not that I don't care what people think, but it's like what they have to say. It doesn't affect me. I'm not going to stop moving the way I move. I'm not going to change or adjust anything in my life just because you may not agree with how I'm living my life. And I think that that's really important for men to take charge of, when it comes to their life. Is you need to be in control of your life. And for me, I'm in control of my life. It's not that I want to be controlling, but I I want to be in control of what things that I have to manage in my life. And that comes along with having balance. And balance doesn't necessarily mean equality. You know, if you look at 100 feathers, 100 pounds of feathers doesn't look like 100 pounds in iron. You know what I mean? But it's the same thing. So it's still, so everything that's balanced doesn't, like I said, doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be equal. So definitely having balance in my life. And last but not least is having time or making time every single day to do something for me. I believe in getting up in the first thing in the morning and taking care of me first. If I take care of me for that first hour, then I got 23 other hours in the day to pour into everybody else or something like that. And I don't have to wait until the end of the day and try to give myself the crumbs after I didn't worked hard for some boss or for some other company or something like that. And then now I'm dragging in 4:30, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening, tired, and then wanting to do something for myself. Nothing wrong with it if that's what people want to do with their lives. But I'm stingy with my time. I'm 47 years old. I am aware of my mortality, and I'm gonna make sure I take care of me. So when I get up in the morning, I take care of me. And along with the balance and the other things that I said, that's how I maintain a healthy balance and a healthy mental. That's how I maintain my. That's some of the things that I do to maintain my mental health because I think it's very important. With that being said, gentlemen, we are about to get into today's topic, which is entitled Unleash Your Potential, Mastering Male Productivity. And with that being said, I'm just going to throw the first question out there, gentlemen. What does it mean? What does the term male productivity mean to you? And why is it important in today's world?
I believe it means focusing on yourself, uh, distinguishing uh, where to put your best effort at, and doing things that capture your legacy in most moments. Having fun, things that also balance you out. Whatever you deem to be priority, whatever's important for that moment in time. You know, um, productivity has to be something healthy for the most part. Because anything that's not healthy is counterproductive, right? So I look at it uh, more in the light of positive outcomes when you think about it.
I would say, to me, male productivity is doing what progresses you forward and having the discipline to keep doing it even when you don't want to do it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, accomplishing goals could be productive, but resting and giving your body a chance to recoup can be productive too. I think in today's world, everybody is saying that you have to constantly be doing something to be productive. And I think sometimes constantly doing something can be counterproductive, because when do you get to rest to have the energy to go out and keep doing? You understand what I'm saying? So I guess that's where I would start.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think, when it comes to productivity, I think you should I think in a sense it's something that you can measure. Now how you measure it, I think is different. So productivity for one person may be, you know, getting up, getting their checklist done for the day, right? I got 10 things on the checklist. I got them prioritized 1 through 10. Long as I get these things done, long as I get these things accomplished, I feel like I feel like I'm being productive. But there's also someone who can write 10 lists of crap, you know what I mean? And just checking off boxes. I was doing that. I had wrote down some things a few months ago. I had a whole schedule. And then after some time of doing that on a consistent basis, I realized that all I was doing was coming up here being like a robot and just checking off things. They didn't really mean anything to me. And it was just like I really wasn't productive. I was just checking off a little where I was being productive, but I wasn't being efficient. And I don't know, man, but me just saying that made me think about something else. But let me just let Antoine jump on this, and then I may come back to that.
I think for me, male productivity is what you put out every day to move you forward as a man. Your product, what gets you moving forward? What brings you, what you have in your life? What sustains you? A man should be putting out something every single day. He should be creating every single day. He should be working towards goals every single day. You know, my father said he'll get enough rest when he's dead. He loved it. He loved the drive. It kept him young. It kept him productive. It kept him moving. And I believe in that. I believe a man should put out a product every day. Don't want something and not be willing to put the time into work. You're young. Use your youth. Use that energy you have. You can sleep a lot when you're later and retired. But when you're a young man coming up or a middle-aged man and you don't have what you want to have in life, but you know the next door neighbor does, you should be putting out something. You should never be content, ever. I think the minute you became content, you become complacent. The minute you become complacent, you become old. The minute you become old, you don't work. The minute you go old work, you die. I think you need to put out something every day, period. I don't care what you're doing. And if it's not working on your body to make you better, if it's not achieving your goals, if it's not making money, I don't know what world you living in. I like the lifestyle I have. And I'm not going to get there watching, 3 Men and a Baby on TV. Sure, you're going to rest. That's what the nighttime's for. But you want to know you have a productive day and feel satisfied. I think that's what a man should do.
Well, how about this? Do y'all think that there are any do you think there are any like misconceptions or myths out there when it comes to male productivity?
What do you mean? What is that?
Like, are there any myth? Man, I got a list.
Don't be up here doing drugs. Don't be up
I'm
here
trying to
doing meth.
MYTHS.
Myth.
Say it again.
Myth.
Say it.
He sound like he got the list. Say it, Chris.
Oh shoot!
It's a myth. It's a myth.
MYTH.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's a
Myths.
Myth.
Yeah.
Y'all sound like a list. Like you got a list
Say it like Mike Tyson.
I guess this is
I sound like
productive
Mike
too.
Tyson
Trying to
all the
pronounce a
time.
word can't nobody say.
Myth.
Say it like Mike Tyson, man. You'll get it right every time.
Myth.
I see.
I absolutely love it here.
Don't send this to Mike, man. Don't send this to Mike.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I don't need him knocking on my door.
He ain't gonna knock. You think Mike gonna knock? He got to come see you? Yeah, you crazy.
How about this? Wrong one. How about this? There we go. Y'all can read it for yourself.
Are there any misconceptions or myths about male productivity that need to be clarified? I think Chris kind of like started off on that with the rest piece, because Antoine and Chris got different perspectives on the same thing. Like what Antoine is saying is absolutely the energy that goes into producing. You know what I'm saying? And then Chris highlighted rest, starting at rest first, because you make more efficient choices and decisions when you got, you know what I'm saying, a rested mind, and you know, you coming from a meditative state before you make, you know what I'm saying, decisions. So I think the myth of it, or the misconception, is that both things are true and necessary, you know. And I believe that there's a lot of growth, just as you experience in the body, when you rest. You know, you come back after a couple of days, or 2 or 3 days, and man, you feel better, you look different. You know, you could tell you've been experiencing that yourself. So I believe the myth is that both are equally important.
I think I'll just piggyback off of Vic. I think one of the main misconceptions and myths about being about male productivity is that we always have to constantly be doing something. Like, you don't have to constantly be doing something all the time. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, it is very, it's disciplined of you to complete what you need to complete, but it's okay to chill out for a hot second. It's okay to chill out and bask in what you produced. You understand what I'm saying? Like, the whole having to constantly move and no rest and all of that. I think all of that is, and I hate to use this word because you know how much I hate buzzwords, but I think that's toxic too. Like, it's okay to chill out and sit down somewhere sometimes. Your body needs the rest. And sleep to me is a performance enhancement drug, because you grow and you repair yourself when you sleep. You understand what I'm saying? So it's okay. Just don't be a sloth about it.
I will say this. I think one of the misconceptions or myths about male productivity, and this is just my opinion, is when it
This is
comes
what
to
we are
like
doing tonight.
Productivity.
it's like the production piece, like go 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 go, right? And then one of those things that come into go 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 is we like to multitask, right? We like to say I'm doing 3 things over at the same time. I'm checking my email, I'm writing my book, and I'm doing a podcast all at the same time, right? I understand the thought behind multitasking, and if that's what people want to believe, that's fine. But I think what it is that you're just constantly jumping or rapidly jumping back and forth between different things. I think you're focused on this, then that, then that, then that. You jumping back and forth. But I really don't. And I think that sometimes it can be harm if you are multitask, because you can't lock in. Like, I could only imagine if Antoine was, painting and trying to multitask at the same time. I don't think that it will work. I don't know, but from what he's saying, he needs to be focused and he needs to be zoned in. I think that there is something that's to that. I think there's something to that. So, and that's why I think that I have kind of sort of been testing this out, and I might know that. I had a note up here on my desk. It must have wind or something blow it off, but it said focus on one thing at a time. I wrote this note up here so I will constantly keep looking at it, because I've been trying to gauge where, multitasking versus, being focused on one thing at a time. And kind of what I've been noticing so far is that focusing on one thing at a time has become more productive than trying to multitask 2 or 3 different things at once. At least for me right now. So I think that's one of the misconceptions, at least in my opinion, when it comes to male productivity, that may need to be clarified. But what do you guys say about the whole multitasking piece, if you want to say anything about it at all.
Well, I mean, when I say, you're constantly putting out productivity, I'm just saying, like, whatever you choose, whatever's the main, whatever's the main thing in your life, main entity of work, production, you should be focused on that and making sure you do it to the best of your ability and drain yourself with it. But if you have to multitask, like that would be for me, okay, picking up, groceries or kids or picking up somebody from work or your wife or whatever it is, that's different. That's multitasking, planning to do it at the time you do it. But at the time you have within 8 hours, 12 hours to do what you need to do, you ain't resting. You shouldn't even rest, The only time you rest is to maybe get something to eat, some coffee, refocus, but you get back on there, right? That's why you have an hour at work for a break or whatever you do. But I don't believe that. I just believe people become complacent too easy today. There's too many distractions. You got enough with the phone, YouTube, this, that. Something's always going to pull you away. So you're getting all that rest when your eyes go somewhere else. I'm just saying, if you're going to be the best at what you're going to do, you ain't going to get it resting. Because while you're resting, you're making room for the next guy to pass you. So don't be surprised if you're last in the race. That's all I'm saying. I'm only going to be remembered by my first. I'm going to be known by my first drawing and remembered by my last. That's it. Everything else in the middle is just work and do productivity. And I believe that for everybody in life, That's what pushes me. Ask any millionaire, they'll tell you they're in their third or fourth or fifth wife or whatever. Their work was their priority, man. And it comes at that's a sacrifice it comes at. And your rest is going to come on your vacation where you can enjoy your money, But your health, Chris waking up in the morning, that's his priority. Go and do it. You ain't going to get it sitting on the bench looking at his cell phone before his next set. Oh, man, you got to get your mind ready and get your ass underneath that bar. You ain't going to get it talking to your next friend in the gym. Come on. You guys know that ain't true.
I think people confuse multitasking with stopping one thing to do another thing, if that makes any sense. Like, it's not doing two things at once. Like, for instance, like when I study, I'll study for a half hour and then I'll go clean my kitchen. You understand what I'm saying? Or I'll and then come back, do some study, and then I'll go take a quick walk. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not doing two things at once. It's doing one thing and then doing another thing. I think that's a common misconception.
Yep, I agree. Like, I do what you do. Like, I get that. That's simple. That's easy. I can get 3 things accomplished, but I'm focused on kind of one thing at a time. You know what I mean? Just like, you like going to the grocery store. All right. So I'm leaving. I'm going to Raleigh. Right. I'll be gone for about 2 hours. I'm gonna hit the grocery store. I'm gonna go get gas. I'm gonna stop and get some coffee. Like, I'm getting all of these tasks done. I'm multitask, but I'm not trying to do all of them at one time. I'm separating them. I'm taking advantage of the drive to knock out 3 or 4 different things. So as far as multitasking and that, I think that is multitasking. But
I think we overcomplicate it. I think we want multitasking to be a talent.
I agree.
and I don't see it like that. I see it as carrying out the basic duties and responsibilities that you got on your plate that nobody else is coming to do for you anyway. Like, everybody has something else to do. Everybody has something to do. How many times have you said, hey man, I can do something else with my time if we can't, if you can't give me a time and a date, right? Like, I'm down to be there, but let me know in advance. It's because you got something else to do.
Exactly. I got my own life.
So I believe we talk too much. I think we glorify multitasking for no reason. It's almost like saying you independent. You know what I'm saying? So everybody has something else that they could be doing, whether it's for them personally, whether it's another task they got. Man, I got 2 or 3 things right now that I know I could be working on. So I think it's about I think the word is prioritization. Everybody has a main effort, and people got stuff that's on the back burner. You know what I'm saying? So priority is like you got your first hour in the morning, like you already talked about. The priority for you, Chris, is the gym at a specific time because you know when you go have your best zen. Antoine, he got his space carved out for what he does, you know what I'm saying, when it's time for him to create. And I sit still a lot of the times because as a writer, you know, like it hits you like vomit. You gotta go and be able to just, you know what I'm saying, shift gears. So until that happens, and you know what I'm saying, like you can put your pen down, you focusing on the pen, and then when you put the pen down, you go back to the things that you got to do. Just because you have to put stuff in a certain type of order, then that's different. Now, if you're in the kitchen just cooking itself is multitasking. If you're cooking, you know what I'm saying, multiple things to make a meal, right? That's multitasking in the moment. But even then, you don't cook forever. You cook for the moment. You multitask for whatever it is that you got to accomplish. Everything else is back to the commercial break. You know, back from our commercial break. That's just what it is.
But even still, like when you're cooking, you're still doing one thing at a time.
You're doing one
Like,
thing at a time.
You're still doing one thing at a time. Like you got the meat on the stove, and then you chopping vegetables, but you put the meat on the stove first. You're not chopping vegetables while putting meat on the stove, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You're still doing one thing at a time. It's just all a combined effort to do one thing.
And you're
Or to
constantly
complete a
jumping
whole
back
thing.
and forth between the things.
Yeah, think
Yeah.
about like when you barbecuing. How many times you got to go in and out of the house? Like keeping your eye on multiple things. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, depending on what you got on the grill, you got the main thing that might be getting cooked over here, not as close to the heat as some of the other food that you might have getting cooked that's closer to the heat. You got to constantly watch it and move it around. That requires a different type of effort. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the very reason why some people can't cook, because they can't prioritize, you know what I'm saying, what they're doing in the kitchen. You know, I have to kind of like see what I'm doing first before I even do it. And then I'll go back and I'll refine my process. So the next time I get ready to do it, I got a more efficient way of getting it accomplished. But like, there's some things I know about me that are OCD, you know what I'm saying? I'm very, you know what I'm saying, methodical about. So I don't do it lazily when I do. But until that time, I'll sit back and wait, you know what I'm saying, until that moment presents itself for me to go all in and give it my full focus. But like, there's some things you just can't go half focused on. You can't go half focused on your food because you don't want burned food or undercooked food. So you got to look at it the way you need to look at it, right? So I think it's just prioritization. Whatever's going on away from the stove or the kitchen can wait. This has got priority.
Yeah,
Exactly.
This don't
I
burn
agree
no
with that.
chicken.
I agree with that. Like if you put the meat in the oven and it's done, it's set. You go upstairs and go back to doing what you need to do. You know what? You know, you come check on it every 5-10 minutes, whatever it is you're cooking. But you don't just stand there and wait 5-10 minutes in front of the stove.
Antoine, you just triggered me.
What I do now?
You just triggered me about that when you talk about putting something in the oven. You know how many times I've heard people say they've been, you know, I'm like, what you do? I've been washing clothes all day. I'm like, do you realize when you put the clothes in the wash machine, you ain't got nothing to do for about 45 minutes?
Yeah.
And then you got another 2 minutes to take it out of the wash machine, put it in a dryer, put some dryer sheets in there, click the start button.
And you're good.
You're
You're good
for another 45 minutes. I
Because
never understood when people say I've been washing clothes all day. I
That's
don't get it.
exactly. I asked myself, yes. What do you do? What do you mean you've been washing clothes all day?
No.
The
You
machine
don't
is
physically
the
wash
washing.
clothes. You
Yeah.
load it and then you move it and then you take it out.
You
The
said that's
longest
like a
thing you're
5-minute process, not even a
Exactly.
5-minute process.
Yep.
The longest thing you're going to be doing in laundry
the
is folding.
entirety of it may take an hour and a half. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Because they over glorify it. Like you can't make it the same thing as you taking the clothes outside and washing them in a bucket.
Yeah, hanging them up on the clothesline.
That's the longest work you'll do is that part, the drying or the folding. That's it.
The folding is the hardest part.
Yeah.
It depends on who you are. Some people don't even fold their clothes; they just put them leave them in the basket until they iron them
and live out the basket.
and live out the basket.
Yeah, socks and underwear go in one spot, and you know what I'm saying. Especially like if you got a real consistent gym routine and you on a certain type of schedule, you're not gonna wear very many different clothes, especially if you depending on what your routine is. Now, if you doing a lot of social activities in between, then your routine is gonna look way different. It's gonna be a little bit less predictable. So I think definitely people over glorify again multitasking. You know what I'm saying? It's not that big of a deal. It really isn't.
I agree with Vic 100% on that, man.
Now I will say this though, depending on your household and how it's set up, because if you got a house with a bunch of kids, you could be doing laundry all day.
Now I agree, you doing laundry all day, but you're not.
Yeah,
You are, but there's always a time where that laundry's in the wash machine and it's in the dryer.
there's some gaps.
Now,
There's some gaps.
there are some gaps in there. Now,
Yeah.
does it tie you down to the home sometimes? Absolutely. I get that part. You know what I mean? But you ain't doing laundry all day. Hey, look, with that being said, hey, let me shout out to the chat real quick. Hey, I saw this and I want to make sure I shout her out. Dreadhead Temple. She's always over here. So special shout out to you. Ennis Williams, Charlotte Jordan, everybody that's here today. Who else?
Oh wow, we getting a lot of people. It's all that in the chat.
I'm feeling like Antoine. Why care? Look, Antoine, you ain't alone out there. I told you, a lot of people, people get you, Antoine. It's just the delivery sometimes, but we ain't gonna have another whole show about that. Hey,
I got one.
Lifestyle said, I became more productive when I reflect on past projects and just having quiet time to think about new plans or just rest to hear the body. Bruh, facts right there.
That's me.
That's what
right
you was
there.
talking about. But that's so important too, even for the mental health. It's like, and Chris was saying, taking a break. You know what I mean? Not resting, maybe not working out for a certain amount of time, or maybe having a lighter workout. All of those things are considered resters too. I have rest days, but my rest days are active rest. You know what I'm saying? On my rest days, I go walk or I go for a slow run. You know what I mean? I did last Saturday, I walked 4 miles with my vest on. Bruh, that's nothing. Like, I'm just walking. I'm not doing, it's not strenuous. It's just boring sometimes. That's why I put the headphones on and I listen to a podcast or I listen to something that can elevate me or something that can that I can learn from, something educational. And then the next day I did the same thing, but I ran 6 miles and I was fine. Like, it's a slow 6 miles. It ain't like I'm super winded. I'm not running, you saying boat speeds for 6.5 miles. I'm chilling. Almost airborne shuffling for those who know what the airborne is.
Yeah. Man,
Lifestyle also said a bunch of valid points. Who else just popped up in here? So Uncle, he said they folding all day. Exactly. Folding all day. You see, he made the smiley face. I don't believe him. And Brian Fleetwood Williams, what up, man? Appreciate you being here as well.
Wow, that's all that's in the chat. That's cool. I didn't know that. Wow.
That's consistency right there, Antoine.
Yeah, we actually got people out there. Wow. I should look at that. I should look at that one.
You just don't know where to look. That's all.
Yeah.
I like the wrong place.
He don't need to be in the chat.
Man. I love my big screen. I don't know them anyway, so don't make them me. Like I said,
they know you,
Antoine. Focus.
But they know you.
Antoine multitasking right now.
He can't be multitasking over there. See,
I don't know if I know Ennis Williams. I don't know if I recognize that name. I'm feeling more like Antoine.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Who you is, Antoine?
Exactly, Ennis. I'm with you. All right, I
will tell you this. It just everybody that has ever heard of this show know Antoine.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Antoine.
That doesn't sound too complimentary, but okay.
You are who you are, Antoine.
When it comes to productivity, what are y'all thoughts about time management and productivity? Because we keep talking about, we kind of talked around time, but we all only have 24 hours in a day. And we talking about grinding, people are talking about resting, we talking about balance. So how does time management and what you do at that time, like, how does time management work in this whole scheme of productivity?
I'm going to say, can I speak first on this one? Is that cool?
Yeah.
I'm going to say time management is something I really struggled with. And I still think now I got a grip on it, but I wouldn't say I got a full grip on it. But that is key and so important because I do my own cleaning and my own cooking and all that, right? So there's certain gaps that I say, okay, Antoine, you got to freaking get this done here. You got to do the housework here. You got to cook here, because I cook my food for the week like that, right? Because I ain't going to bust chicken out every day. Thaw it out, season it, next day you cook it. And if I'm not on point with that, like there's a certain day I do the house cleaning and I clean my toilet once a week, right? Once I miss cleaning the toilet, it carried over, no joke, till the following week because that time was used. And then when I was in my bed, go to bed, I'm like, shit, man, I didn't do this. And it's so important as you're an adult and you're managing your own time and you don't have people doing things for you. Time management is important, man. It is important. So that's what I'm going to say on that. Another thing we could touch on later on, but I don't want to get into it, is how to create an exit plan for oneself if you're in a situation. You have to think of an exit plan. If you're in a job and it's time for you to move on, you got to think of an exit plan because you got so many people that love you, gonna miss you. You got attached to a lot of people, but you still need to think of an exit plan to leave because you got to find something better. And that's another thing that's a pressure. Time management, man, boy. Yeah, that's an adult thing, boy. You know, because when you're younger, you got your mom telling you what to do, your father, you got, your school, you got to be at school at this time, the bus is coming. Everything's like structured. But when you get older and you control your own time, it's like, it's like when you get those porkies and they're fat and you're putting the food in your mouth because you can afford to buy the Twinkies. So you go to the store, you can buy, you can't take the fork out of your mouth. So you're growing as big as a house. And next thing you know, you want somebody to lift you up and you're like, I ain't lifting that. Nobody's there to lift you up. Yeah, I'm telling you, time management gets away from you. So does your diet. And you just go all over the map, man. Yep. That's what I'm going to say to that. I would
have to agree, man. Time management, when you don't get things done that you need to get done, it trickles down into other areas of your life. You understand what I'm saying? It trickles down. And then at the end of the day, when you laying in your bed, you're thinking about all of the things that you could have done. And now you done put it off. So now you got to do more the next day. I read a quote that said, if you give yourself 3 hours to do something, you'll get it done in 3 hours. If you give yourself 30 minutes to do something, you'll get it done in 30 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? You just have to have the discipline to do it. And that's something that a lot of people lack, but it's also something that people were lied to when they were told that it was easy. It is not easy. You understand what I'm saying? It's not easy being disciplined, but when you're disciplined, you have freedom.
That was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, I've seen a good quote that said something along those lines. Discipline definitely is freedom because number one, you got to have everything you talked about, like that led to this moment before you said that was about structure. What everybody else was talking about when you start talking about time management, and it's like getting in sync with what's important and prioritizing things or whatever, right? And then when you got structure, your structure is only you only benefit from the structure. You got the discipline to stick to the structure, which is what Chris was talking about. And then those two things combined free you from the what ifs, what Antoine was describing about, missing that moment to clean the toilet, and how that added up, because it's always in the back of your mind as something that you need to accomplish. And then those weighted things, everybody's got a different struggle that keeps them from staying disciplined, staying on task or whatever, right? And all the while, your mental health has to go along with all of this, because regardless of how you feel mentally, these things still have to happen, which is why I don't like the overglorification of multitasking. You know what I'm saying? It's not a superpower. It's more, it's a buzzword to me. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's got something complicated. Like, you just can't come in my life and make the decisions, you know what I'm saying, that I would make, that I would expect you to make. None of us can switch places and get the same kind of efficiency and outcome or expectations. It'll all be different, because whatever's in your life that's not in front of you is also a variable too. You got seen and unseen variables. So you have to be so intentional and so deliberate about what you want to accomplish that nothing interferes with that. You know what I'm saying? This is why we talk about boundaries all the time. You don't want somebody like Antoine. You don't want to have an angry conversation before you go pick up your brush.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Don't want
No,
to have.
I would like to see that painting.
I would like to see it though. You know what I'm saying?
I would too. I think that would
An
be a
angry
masterpiece.
Antoine,
Angry
an
Antoine with a
focused
paintbrush.
Antoine, fire,
Yeah,
fire.
it'll look just like Ray Lewis in the back.
You don't think so, Antoine? Oh, so, I mean, this is us. Do you think you could paint angry, like an angry aggressive, like if you was mad, like say for like you was with somebody and they just walked out on you, and you was like,
Yeah.
you know what, I'm just going to paint.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do it come out good?
Yeah. I put a lot more emotion into it.
You got some emotional pain somewhere?
You know what? I was going to tell you that. You know what was my most emotional painting? When I lost my ex, I was living in Pasadena, which is about 50 minutes from where I'm living now. Lost my ex, and I was drawing the Obama pic at that time. I think he was coming into office, or he was in office. One of the best pictures. But I could tell you every stroke where I was shedding tears, every stroke where I was sad. And, oh my God. And every time I look at it, I get emotional because I remember that time period in my life. And I hate it for what it is, but other people like it. But I cannot stand it. Something like that.
Some of the best albums have been written and put out.
All the Mary J. albums.
Oh boy,
every Mary J. Blige album after a breakup was fire.
When Antoine was talking, I started hearing Adele. Set fire to the rain.
Yeah, dude. Come on, man. I'm telling you, sometimes. Come on, you can't tell me, Chris. Let's be real. When you don't want to go to the gym and you know something's negative on your mind and you hurting inside, man, you go to the gym and
that's when I put up PRs. That's what I do personal best.
Right?
But see, that's what we call channeling that energy.
Yeah.
But see, that's
transmutation.
That's another thing
like
that has to do with discipline too, though.
Man.
To know that if you angry and you don't get this evil out, something bad is gonna happen. So you got to move that energy into something that's gonna be productive and move you forward instead of going to destroy some stuff. I would rather destroy these weights than destroy you after you done did something to knock me off my square.
That's why alcohol.
Why you think I go to the gym in the morning, bro? I have to get calmed down first, right? I had to take care of me first. I had to get level first. Then and only then can go out there and conquer the world and grind and do what I need to do. But I got to take care of me first, man. Like I said, I got nothing. I had no problem with people who want to work out and take care of themselves after they give everything to their boss. Do you? I ain't doing that. I'm taking care of me first. You know what I mean? For those people who went to church, when you get paid, what's the first thing you do? Pay your tithe. Who the second thing you pay? Pay yourself. Bruh, when I get up, when I wake up and my day start, I'm paying me first.
Yeah.
Then my wife can get some of the other 23. Chris can get some of the other 23. Vic can get some of the other 23. Antoine can get some of the other 23. Yeah. My job can get some of the other 23. But dude, like somebody mentioned something earlier about pouring out of an empty cup. Or whatever. It was another post from earlier on Facebook. But like, dude, like how can you give what you don't have? And everybody does, and I'm not saying that everybody needs to do this. Everybody is different. Everybody doesn't need to get up in the morning and take care of themselves. Some people are good living the type of life that they have already. But as for me, it's a lot easier for me to get up, take care of myself for at least an hour, become level-headed, and then go out there and tackle stuff.
But see, that also gives you a semblance of accomplishment too. Like
absolutely,
I just knocked this out. So I'm already ahead of the game, and I knocked this out before most people even get up out of their bed. So I'm way ahead of the game.
Bro, check this out. You guys good with math. You guys can count, right? So, all right. So, boom. The alarm goes off. You hit the snooze button. You're already 0-1. You don't go to the gym like you said you was. Now you 0-2. You already starting the day off being a loser. Already starting off in the hole. If you especially if you said that that's what you was going to do, I get up, the snooze button go off. There's two conversations going off when that snooze button goes off. Hit it. I mean, when the alarm goes off, hit it and lay back down or get up. You got a choice to make. So if I make the choice to get up, I won. Unc won, life 0 or the day 0 or whatever you want to call it. After that, dude, get up and go get dressed and get to the gym. Boom, went to the gym. 2-0. So by the time I get to work and I didn't did 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 8 more things, but I get into work happy. I already had a whole day before I even went to work. I'm already accomplished before I even walk into the building. So it ain't nothing you can do at work to really knock me off my feet. My cup has been filling up since 4 o'clock in the morning. I've been taking care of me since 4 o'clock. Now it's 9 o'clock, 8:30, the bell ringing. Let's go. Like I ain't dragging into work, but I'm gonna be up here, but constantly. But by the end of the day, I am ready to go home. You know what I mean? I done had a long day. You know what I'm saying? But I already got me in.
Yeah,
I'm productive.
And that's the discipline aspect of it. To get up, and then you have your set block of time where you go knock this out, and then you can do what you have this set block where you can do what you need to do, so that way you can do what you want to do later on, and that whole, and like I said earlier, it trickles down into everything else. When you start your day off lacking, your whole day lacks.
Once you, but don't you guys got to agree that once you're in the morning and you get comfortable with that cup of coffee, if you don't move after that, it's just gonna trickle. You're just gonna stay like this the whole day.
Yeah,
and that's
or
coffee.
dip.
Coffee.
Or dip.
Yeah,
coffee is a reward. Coffee is after you work out. You don't get to reward yourself. Like
what?
Yeah,
I love my first thing in the morning is a cup of coffee.
What did you do to earn that cup of coffee?
I was looking for that cup of
Got
coffee
your ass
last
up,
night.
brushed your teeth, and made some coffee. You ain't even earned it.
Yeah.
You ain't earned them calories.
That's how I didn't want to talk to you before I had my little cup of coffee in the morning.
I know I'm just picking. Dude,
And I know people like that too. I know people that don't talk to me until I got something.
Yes.
I look forward to my coffee in the morning right before.
And for people like that, yes, go get your coffee before you around me.
Yeah,
I agree. I was at the gym last week and I saw a cup and I just happened to look and I was like, they drinking coffee. Like it's
at the gym?
At the gym before 5 a.m.
It's a pre-workout for some people.
It is a pre-workout for some people, but not for me. I've done it before. Coffee, banana, and it'll get you right. You work right on through that workout.
Everybody got something they do to
Everybody got something. Yeah.
They might have coffee. You might have your 4 or 6 mile.
I don't have nothing. I work out empty.
I don't work out on anything. Like I don't even eat until afternoon. So
I don't eat after I work out.
For the
drink
most part,
after I work out.
Man, I sit in the sauna for an hour and 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And I break every 20 minutes, 15 minutes, however I'm feeling, and go out and do like a chunk of dips and curls at a time. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else. I go do the hard stuff that nobody wants to do. The things that people spend 10 minutes on, I probably spend, like AAA time on it, triple or the 6 times more energy into what they do, because I get my most clarity when I can sit still. There has to be some effort that's consistently, like I'm pushing something, I'm pushing myself against whatever it is, and nobody else has to see it. It's just me, It's like people put their GPS on when they driving. Some people try to beat the GPS time that it gives them. I'm trying to beat, whatever time is in front of me, no matter what. I'm trying to challenge myself, chase down the next thing. So that's my own individual scuffle. So like what you were saying about being 1-0, whatever your, like your non-negotiables are, you got to have those, and they have to be contained within the things that fit into what you're trying to accomplish for you, instead of just being distracted, just saying, you was available over here and you weren't productive. Like you was talking about making a bunch of lists and not following the stuff that's on them. You know what I'm saying? Like that non-negotiable part, whatever you choose to start your day, is very important.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, shout out to Son Oracle. Time management is critical, but sometimes we can spend too much time on unproductive tasks. Can't get that time back. That's true right there, man. Absolutely.
Looking at your
100%.
phone, YouTubing things, not going
Yeah.
to bed on time because you're looking at YouTube videos. All that shit messes you up, man. I agree with that. Yeah, definitely.
Shout out to Son Oracle. Also, lifestyle. Lifestyle said my whole work day is mapped out in meetings or the time is blocked off so I can get projects done. That's true, man. I think people who are somewhat successful. I think there is a lot of mapping all of their day and routine and structure that goes into that. Definitely get that.
And there
Karen
are
Jordan.
apps that'll do it for you.
What's that?
There are applications in that $1,000 device that you hold in your hand every
Exactly.
day that'll help you do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Karen
And they're
Jordan
free.
says,
You don't have to pay for them.
That's why the discipline is so key. It's so key.
I agree with that.
time management. Shout out to Karen Jordan. Time management is vital to being productive. Sure, one can be productive without time management, but how productive? I can bring more to the table using time management. I like that.
Shout out to Karen.
Yeah, that was a good one, Karen.
Yeah.
Yep. Jamal Bryant. Multitasking is just part of being a responsible adult. Nothing special, but necessarily. If you believe in multitasking, I'm not going to combat it.
Mm-hmm.
John Washington said the weights don't do it for him. I still be ready to rip somebody's head off. That's true. Like everybody not into the weights. We did some numbers before we came on the show. Only 1 in 4 Americans, only 1 in 4 people can do only 1 in 4 people can do a pull-up.
Well, that's
So
why we have
understand-
that's why we have an obesity problem in America. I mean,
Not because of pull-up.
I don't think that's where he was
That's why
going.
we have a problem.
No, not that. We ain't going there.
Yeah.
Antoine. That ain't what
He
we
just
talking
talking
about.
about.
Pulling up to
Talking
that
about
tweet.
in general.
Every time, man.
They get off the bed and their stomach comes later.
Oh man.
Antoine, don't you be over here trying to get my my channel taken down.
Sorry. putting the slippers on, they can't see their feet.
You won't stop.
They gotta lean all the way forward to slip it in.
What good was that?
Oh, that's funny. All right.
Man.
Breathing hard.
Let me lose my train of thought, Antoine.
Sorry. That was funny.
You was talking about pull-ups, and you said only
1 in 4 people can
Only
do
1 in
one.
4 can do pull-ups. Yeah. Okay.
So
They're hard though. Pull-ups are hard. Ain't easy.
that how many can you do?
That's subjective.
I would say I'm a good 8.
If you had to get on a pull-up bar right now, how many could you knock
I'm
out?
saying a good 8, 9, and I'm struggling
Okay.
after that.
Yeah.
I'm being honest with you.
You
I'm
are
going for
already
8.
ahead of 3 out of the 4 people roaming this planet.
Most people
I
can't.
thought 12 was. Isn't 12 the major number that
No.
people do?
No, people don't do pull-ups. I'm trying to tell you, like
Most people
most
can't
people
do
can do
one.
a
I
push-up.
thought 8 was not enough. Oh.
Most people can't do a push-up. Most people can't
A push-up.
bench press their own body weight.
Oh, I can understand the bet. Well, depending on what you're eating, but don't people can't do push-ups? That's like
Yeah,
I haven't heard that one. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a new one to me.
technology.
You know what,
doesn't-
Antoine? I will say this. I didn't realize how many people couldn't exercise and do certain things until after I got out of the military. So being in the military for 20 years, everywhere you look, everybody works out. Everybody does multiple sets of exercises. People do 100 reps of things all the time. So when I got out and people were talking about doing 10 reps or 30 reps, I'm like, so we having a light day. You know? And they're like, no, we working out hard. And I'm just like, I'll see people's posts and they did 2 exercises and did a total of 27 reps. And they talking about they was grinding and getting it in. Maybe. I don't see it. And I see the pictures. I don't see the correlation. But that's neither here nor there. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to move on to the next topic because this is not about obese people or weightlifting today. But with that being said, we are going to talk about health. And that's a healthy work-life balance. So how can a healthy work-life balance positively impact your productivity?
Dude, you know what I gotta say, man? I think a healthy body leads to a healthy
Now,
mind.
hold on, Antoine. Let me back up. Let me read the question. Let me read it again. How can a healthy work life
Okay.
balance positively? How can they? I'm reading. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me. I'm gonna get it together.
He's loading. He's
Right?
loading.
I'm
Buffering.
I'm I'm excited right now.
Okay, okay.
So I need to slow it
I got the
down.
answer too.
Think about it. How can a healthy work-life balance positively impact male productivity?
I think you know what? Listen, if the best thing for you to do is if you're working or you're an entrepreneur, is to have a healthy, productive day that you hit everything on the nail, right? And you're just waiting for that outcome. And I think when you go to work or you go to a job or you have your own business and you set those goals in the morning, okay, I'm going to do this, going to do this, going to do this, kind of. I think once you hit those marks, you feel so much better that even if something fails elsewhere, you know you accomplished something previously. You know, it's like you did that for your own well-being where it doesn't depend on anybody else but what you do. I mean, come on. You don't think like after a good day's work, even if you're working for somebody, after a good day's work and you come home, you're feeling like a champ. You know?
I think it increases confidence.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, like overall, a healthy work-life balance positively impacts male productivity because once you accomplish something, it creates momentum. And when you get momentum, you get more efficient in certain areas. You prioritize things differently. You start to see the benefits of the structure. Then you start to see the benefits of the increased discipline, that gives you access to the things that make you better. And then the most important part of it, it's necessary it's necessary to create a good, healthy work-life balance because being imbalanced is not healthy in most cases, and you can't benefit from it if you're dead. So plenty of people run into situation like every year when it snows, right? There's always a bunch of people that die of heart attacks trying to shovel snow and they haven't done anything all year. And the first time it snows, they're going to get out there and shovel snow and have a heart attack. And they haven't done anything, for themselves because they overworked and underprepared. So if you don't have a good, healthy work-life balance, the first task that comes along, it might be the straw that breaks the camel's back and makes you sit down.
I think it also brings a kind of, I don't know if I'm saying the same thing Vic is saying, but I think it also brings a type of mental clarity. You understand what I'm saying? Like work is work, home is home, and you're not bringing work into home. You understand what I'm saying? It gives you time to separate. Like I'm just gonna say it, like we are more than what we do. And having a healthy work-life balance actually allows you to be more than your work, if that makes any sense. Am I saying that right?
I get it. I'm following along.
Because like Coach said, if like he would say we are not what we do when he's up here, right? Um he would say, I always say this isn't even a thing that we're good at. The only thing that we're doing right now is just sharing our personal takes on these topics. But we've been disciplined enough to come here and be honest and vulnerable about how we see things or whatever. And this is a good, healthy work-life balance because all of us got something else that we could be doing.
Yeah.
But we probably wouldn't be doing it as efficiently, if we were bogged down mentally by something else. Even if we weren't doing this, there's something else that requires our effort and priority. But if you got a certain thing that you can't do unless you're in the right mindset, then you're just gonna sit there and waste your time. You're gonna be distracted. You're gonna be all over the place, and you're not gonna be able to see the fruit of your consistency. You know what I'm saying? So just like we were talking about making those lists, I keep going back to that. You can make a list after list after list. If you don't have the discipline to go back and adhere to the list and do what you said you was gonna do, what's the point?
And you know, Vic, you're absolutely. That's why bringing someone into your life as your significant other is so important, that they're on that same page as you, that they believe they have, you know, like-minded things and like-minded things to do. Because if they're not on your program, you can't freaking time manage. You can't do any of that because they're throwing you off what you plan on doing. They have to be alongside and on the same page. That's why it's so important, time management, man. Because everybody has to, if your significant other has to understand your time management as a man and what you produce and what you have to produce. There's so much pressure to be, oh, man, very important.
I would say that's also a form of discipline too, though. To
All
have
of
the
it.
discipline to tell the person that you bring it into your life, hey, I have to do this. I have to do this. This is a boundary. This is a non-negotiable. You understand what I'm saying? I have to do this. You understand what I'm saying? So it takes a lot of sexual discipline to do that.
Where you get that from?
Ooh,
I see what you did there.
Hey,
hey, the main two things, I don't know about you guys, but the main two things every month for me is my mortgage and my car payment. Everything else is trickling down after that because I need a roof over my head and I need to get around. Those are like men's two main things every day. You know,
I don't have a car payment.
I'm just saying, you know.
Healthy flex. That's a good healthy flex right there.
But you need you need to provide for yourself first and provide for your living before you execute.
So, and here's what I'll say to that, Antoine. When it comes to like the healthy work-life balance, I think is like what Chris was talking about, having the division between the two, right? And I think that if you separate those things and you keep them separate, and when you're at work, you focus on work. When you're at home, you focus on home. Now, let's be honest and let's be real. Sometimes those areas may trickle over. You may have an argument or something, and you may feel a certain type of way at work. Not me, but some people do. You know what I mean? You may do something at work and you may be excited or upset or something. You may want to come home and tell your significant other. But I'm talking about on a consistent basis, you still have that balance and you still have that division between the two. So I think when you can do that, when I'm at work, I can focus on being work and I can focus on being the best school counselor I can be. When I'm at home, I can focus on being the best husband and being the best father I have to be, because I've separated the two. I've created a boundary in my life that says, you know what? When we're at work, we do work. When we're at home, we do home. And I think that allows for that division between the two, and also allows for the healthy work-life balance and help with the positivity impact with productivity on both sides. I can be more productive at work because I'm at work thinking about work, not about home. I'm at home and I can be productive at home because I'm not at home thinking about work. So that's how I think it impacts the male productivity. I can be productive at home.
I'm sure Chris will agree. I'm sure Chris is a better person, more productive after he's been to the gym or he goes to the gym. I doubt he's as active, as motivated in his everyday life if he does not go to the gym, but he still has to do the other things. I'm sure that thing like, shit, I didn't get it done this morning, would trickle down his whole day and compress it to, oh, I'm pissed. He's a better so if a person comes into his life and they know that, that shouldn't even be that a thought. That should be like, why are you sitting next to me? You shouldn't be here next to me right now. That's what the whole thing is, what I'm trying to say with this significant other coming in. She has to understand that at the get-go, you know, because that's what a man's productivity is or lies, I think.
I like it, Antoine. Let's roll with this first. Actually, you know what? Before we get there, I want to hit this one, all right? Real quick, not too much time on it, but are there any psychological factors such as mindset and motivation that play a significant role in male productivity? Right off the rip, I'm gonna say yes, but I'm gonna let you brothers speak on it first.
I wouldn't say mindset and motivation. I would say mindset and discipline. Motivation fades.
Wait, put that question.
Motivation fades. there are some times where I'm not motivated to go to the gym, but I'm
Could care less about
disciplined enough to
motivation.
know that I gotta be there to knock this out, so that way I can go about the rest of my day. Because if I don't knock this out, I'm gonna feel like trash for the rest of the day. You
See, I'm
understand what I'm
like you.
saying?
I'm like you. I understand motivation, but like you said, it's just a small part. Like I
Yeah.
don't take a whole bunch of stock in motivation because what happens when the motivation wears off? You got to have some discipline, or you got to have something there that's going to push you to your next destination or to completing your goal. So once the motivation runs out, then what? So like I understand it's cool. I heard someone say before motivation is like the kindling on the fire. You use it to start it, but you got to add some logs to that joker before before it's going to continue to burn. You just
That's
can't put that kindling on the fire and expect it to do anything. You got to have the discipline, you got to have the mindset, you got to have structure, you got to have a plan. You know what I mean? In order to be productive, you got to have all of these things. Productivity ain't just one thing; it's a combination of a multitude of things, all working together simultaneously to come up with a great plan.
Man,
yeah, I
like,
agree with that.
yeah, motivation by itself is just trendy,
But
because
I'm not
it
against
comes and
it.
goes.
It's
I'm
just
not against it. Yeah, that's what I'm
don't
saying.
put all your stock in it.
Right. You
That's
can't
my thing.
rely on
Like
motivation.
you,
Some
you know
people
that
only rely on motivation.
you know how when one day you brought up, you said, man, I think you made a Facebook post. You said, man, I got 30 years in the gym, and that right there is a good nail on the head, because sometimes you go through periods where you don't want to go. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But because you've already accomplished certain things, you don't feel bad about taking no time off. You know what I'm saying? Because like, man, if I want to take off a couple months, like who cares? You know what I'm saying? I hit some numbers in my, you know what I'm saying, in my goal list already. So like if I don't want to do it again, you can't take it from me. You know what I'm saying? So like that's why I say motivation is trendy. If it's not part of who you are, you can't fake it. You either got it or you don't. And you won't have it without the reps. You can't, it's certain things you can't simulate. So a lot of people think they have more time. All of us think we got more time than what we got.
Mm-hmm.
Few of us act like we got less time than what we got.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have more audacity than they do discipline.
Audacity.
That's why a person can look at what you did on social media and think they can replicate exactly what you did. You know, I used to have people say, man, hey, if I work out with you for 2 weeks, what would I, you know what I'm saying, what would I look like? Trash, the same trash you came in with, because I can't simulate how you would look off of what I did. I don't know what your capacities are. I don't know what, you know what I'm saying, what you do best or worse. So and people can, man, you can take, all of us can start off working on the same muscle with the same exercise, and all of us would look completely different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's about, what do you put your best effort? This is about prioritization. All of this is mindset. Any part of this, no matter how you break it down, you can't get a wrong answer.
That's right. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to move on and hit some of these true false questions. With that being said, effective time management is a crucial aspect of male productivity.
I believe, yes,
True.
that is true, man.
And that
We just
doesn't
got to
even
talking about that.
about to say the statement doesn't even require an explanation. That should be a post. That should be like a rule. Effective time management is a crucial aspect of male productivity.
Say
Book
less.
it. Write it down.
Writing it down.
Okay, I just want to add this though. Do you
Add
know
to it, Antoine.
all of us train, right? All of us work out. And that alone is a chore for some people. For us, it's like we just do it. And I'm so grateful I'm in that group, because working out is not a chore for me, right? It's just it's like brushing your teeth for me. It's something that I just love doing. I don't
It's part of your
always,
life.
I don't
Part of your
always
life.
doing it.
But
Right.
see, Antoine,
don't
I can
always
agree
feel
with
like doing
you.
it.
I can
That's why
agree with you.
yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with you. But in the beginning, it was
In the
because
beginning,
I
it was,
hate how sore I felt. Like I couldn't move the next day.
That's the
But
part I
then
like.
I woke up one morning and I was 10 pounds heavier, and everything was filling out. Like my t-shirts were fitting right. And I'm like, all right,
Yeah, you
Now I
looking
know
thick
what
now,
time it is,
man.
and that's when I was like, all right, now this is something that I want to do.
Yeah,
But in the beginning,
you looking thick now. You were like a broomstick before, but you looking thick now.
I'm not.
well, damn, thanks.
Like,
What do you mean? That's
I'm just gonna
I
say
know.
he
I'm just
big
playing
then.
with you. I'm just playing with you.
I'm just gonna say,
nah, man. Look at him. Look at his
You
shoulders.
could have said the positive without mentioning the negative.
yeah.
Is
No,
what he
I
was
mean,
saying.
you looking
No, but
thick
see,
now.
I love it when people do that. I love it when people bring
Yeah.
up how I was and compare it to how I am, and then see the gap, and then
Yeah,
see
you can
and
definitely
see what
see
the
the transition.
consistency is, and what the mindset that I put into it, and the discipline that I put into doing this can bring to fruition. I love that. I take what he says as a compliment. I was just playing with him.
It was definitely a compliment. I think you're in the best gym ever with nobody around. I don't know how you got that deal, but
Because I'm there when nobody is there. I am there first thing in the morning. It is
Wow,
rare that there are people in the gym when I'm there. I go when nobody is there and nobody is in my way, and I can just knock out what I need to knock out.
It's something that you accomplish, man, when you work out that nobody can take from you.
Yeah, Vic lost a lot of weight too. Look at him. You know, man, he knows he did.
I'm up and down. You know what I'm saying? I can pick and choose.
A lot smaller. Yeah. I mean, more chiseled. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing is, I weigh like 207. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
and muscle weighs more than fat, so I'm sure you chiseled in the areas.
Vic 5'2", y'all.
How can you not like that?
Look at
5'2".
Hey, you want to tell us on the time that you thought you was taller than me?
I'm 5'6". I ain't even talking about height.
No, I'm talking about.
I thought Vic was short.
He thought I was little.
Telling my wife, I'm like, man, this little dude over here, little guy.
Yeah.
Chris is like what, 6 feet? Chris is like what?
I'm like, man, this dude taller than me. I hadn't seen him. You know, in the army, we both got on boots. You know, I'm stretched. I'm a stretched 5'7".
Yeah,
I'm 5'11" lying down, but you know.
And that's the thing, man. It's about you got to know your limitations and boundaries, right? Yeah. You know, you got to have enough situational awareness. You know, it's certain things you can't wear. You know what I'm saying? And then there's certain things that's going to get you whatever attention that you're looking for. You know, and the last thing you want to be is too big. You don't want to be, if you 5'5", you don't want to be 5'5" sideways too. You know what I'm saying? You got to pick a struggle, baby. You know,
I already know where Chris's mind going, because mine going there.
6 foot? Chris is what, 6 foot?
Depending on what pair of sneakers I got on that day. I flirt between 5'10" and 6 feet.
Wow,
that's 2 inches, bro.
Man? God damn.
Yeah, I depending on the sneakers I got
shoes
on.
You getting 2 inches. I mean, Air Force Ones will give you an inch and a half, maybe with some thick socks.
Air Max 95s with the big air pocket.
Oh, I love those 95s, man.
Max 95. Any type of
all
Air
them
Max,
airs,
any type of shock. Yeah.
All them airs and the shocks. Yeah, don't say shocks. You better not have no shocks.
Those are my favorite pair of sneakers.
95s are I got
95s.
I hate the shocks, bro. I hate them.
Listen, I started rocking shocks
first. Now
I started rocking shocks when Vince Carter had them. I have those. I don't have the running ones. I got the basketball ones. I love those sneakers.
Can't do no shocks. I was watching a video yesterday on TikTok. They said like one of the most, like, if a chick got on Panda, she like, nah.
What's Panda?
The dunks. They like some black and white dunks. They're a pair of Nikes. A lot of people think they look like Air Force Ones, like low top Air Force Ones. They similar to that look. But anyway, let's move on, man. We got about 15 more minutes left. Get just a couple more of these questions. True, false questions. True, false. Achieving. Oh, yeah, we already did that one. You already do this one? No. We just talked about these.
Yeah.
Achieving work-life balance is essential for maximizing male productivity.
True.
The question good.
No need to beat that dead horse.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. We can move on from that one.
True and necessary.
That's not even a true or false. That's just a statement. Because if you take true or false off of it, it still means what it says.
Maximizing male productivity. So do you think that people can maximize their male productivity if they only focus on their job, their career, and making money, and not focus on their personal health or their
No.
you think there have to be a balance in there? Because I think about I'm just playing devil advocate, and I'm really trying to understand. I look at people who talk about, like, you're talking about, I grind, I grind, I grind. People like, I grind, I grind, I grind all day, all night. I grind. I get up at 1 and I grind until 12 o'clock at night. I sleep for an hour and then I grind again. And they may own a multi-million-dollar company or something like that.
You'll
You know
burn
what I
out.
mean? So, but is that productivity the same as male productivity? And as I think about it, I don't think it is. I think male productivity is more about balance and not just being about one thing. I
Yeah.
think being being productive in your with your finances, or being productive in your business, is different than being just a being being a male productivity. You know what I mean? I think that you have male productivity overall, and then there are subcomponents of being a male and being productive. You have your job life, you have your personal life, you have your parental life, all these different spots. So that's what I think. But yeah, I think this same thing you guys said.
Yeah, I think yeah, I agree with that.
I think it's like over glorifying multitasking. You know, like,
There you go. Okay.
I think every piece in that, like, there's nothing you could take from that. You know, unless you want to say something like social media is key to achieving work-life balance. And I don't think that will be seen the same as the way that this is written.
So speaking of multitasking, true or false? Multitasking is an effective strategy for improving male productivity. I will say this. I personally say false because I am on the team non-multitasking. So, but I think that people who believe in multitasking, that this is it can be an effective strategy for them. 'Cause when I used to believe in multitasking, I thought I could get all these things done and I would be very productive. So I think if you believe in multitasking, it can be effective. But I think if you don't, like me, then it would be false. But what say you, gents?
I think multitasking is like you talked about subcomponent. Like, it's got to be relative to whatever the task is. So ultimately, it's just little pieces that it takes to put it together. Like, if some things you have to multitask in order to accomplish one thing, right? If you're gonna make a cake, you can't just do it with some of the ingredients. You have to know how to employ all of the ingredients together. You know, so it's gonna require some. Everything has a recipe. If it's got a recipe, it's going to require some level of multitasking, and you know what I'm saying, if it produces an outcome. Now, if you're just doing a bunch of unrelated things, like if you changing a tire in the garage, and then you doing something on the back porch, and you know you also got something in the oven, that's ineffective task just being looked at as being multitask. You know what I'm saying? And then you're not accomplishing anything, because I guarantee you're probably still not going to be finished working on the car. You're not going to be finished. You know, you're not going to do whatever you're doing in the kitchen the best way, and something's not going to get completed. Period, because it's just not always effective. So I guess multitasking has to be limited to the thing that's most important. You know, which goes back to prioritizing what is necessary to get done.
The more I think about it, is there even a such thing as multitasking?
I
Because you
keep
still
saying
have to
it.
start one thing
No,
and
it
then
doesn't
do
exist.
another thing. You're not doing two things at the same time. So I would say false, just based off of the fact that I just don't think that there's a such thing as multitasking. You know what I'm saying? Starting one thing and then having that thing going and then doing another thing. I don't think that's multitasking. That's you starting one thing and then going to do another thing while that thing is going. Now, having multiple tasks running at the same time is different than multitasking, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get that.
That's what I've been saying the whole time when we talked about myths. multitasking is a myth. It's just overglorification of existing responsibilities, man. And people just talk about it so much that they're making it something that everybody does. It's no different than when somebody says, I'm independent and I can pay my own bills. Isn't that the hallmark of a responsible adult?
Yeah, so true.
So saying you can multitask is no different than saying I can brush my teeth. It's par for the course. You know what I'm saying? Like we ask simple sarcastic questions all of our life. Oh, so you can't, oh, so and so can't breathe and chew bubble gum at the same time. You know, that's a hint towards like you can't overload certain people. Everybody can overload themselves, and all of us can be more efficient. And I think when you think about, well, what is efficiency? For some people, it's sitting still, reflecting. You know what I'm saying, and figuring out what they're gonna do better and organizing. So I think mentally you can multitask. It's a good strategy to kind of like vet whatever it is that you're doing mentally, but the tasks have to be related. And if the tasks aren't related, you're just doing some shit.
True.
You're muted, sir.
Mindset can significantly, thanks, Chris. Mindset can significantly influence male productivity.
Yep. Sometimes I listen to those tapes, you know. Sometimes I listen to those motivational tapes and people talking. And, yeah.
Motivation. The word motivation, like you just said, is, and like you said earlier, it's fleeting. It's you know, hit or miss. It's necessary for the components, you know. So
it has its place.
Motivation is a mindset.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not against motivation. Like before we came on air, when Chris jumped in, me and Vic was listening to an Eric Thomas video. We was watching the video.
Yeah, I was listening to Joe Dispenza.
When Chris came in, it was still up. You know what I mean? And then we played some David Goggins. Like I understand energy. You know what I mean? So that's what it's more so about the energy that comes from the motivational videos than necessarily the motivation itself. It's like the energy come from. Like I understand, I recognize energy. You know what I mean? And I think anybody who don't, they may be lying to themselves. And here's a perfect example. You've ever been around a room and everything is good, and that one person come in and you can feel just the energy just go down.
Like a gray cloud just came over the whole room.
Yep, that one person come in, like you be having a good time, and that one Karen show up at the cookout. You know what I mean? Or that one person come up there acting drunk or something like that, stumbling around. You like, darn it, man, everything was going good until this head showed up.
And everything
so
was
that's cool. What I mean about the energy and stuff like that. So
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
man, look, that's the vetting criteria I talk about. When you got time and somebody invites you somewhere, one of the vetting criteria questions you ask, who all over there?
Who all over there? Exactly. And then you ask who made the potato salad.
Yep.
if they ask, if you look at the potato salad,
that's gonna determine if you eat before you go.
Yeah. If they make the potato salad, the potato salad got raisins in it, you at the wrong cookout. I guess it depends on who you are.
I'm good. I already ate. I just wanted to stop by and see what y'all had going on.
Yeah. Hey, fix me a plate to go. I'll eat it when I get home.
Fold.
Hold up, throw it in that trash can.
Yeah. Respectfully.
Oh man. Everybody said true to this, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I threw this up there and I left it up there for a reason, but true or false, productivity apps and tools can help men enhance their efficiency.
I think so. Yeah. Yep, that's true.
What do you think, Chris? Because
I was just talking about this earlier.
I thought you were. That's why I was
talking about this
here.
earlier. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like when I don't know who brought it up, but the meetings app or the Google Calendar or the Apple Calendar or even asking Siri to set reminders for you.
Yeah,
like it works.
Yeah,
if you work them.
If you use them efficiently.
Yeah, if you use
I don't know
them
how many. Have y'all ever been in like units or jobs where there's a spreadsheet, but you got to keep the spreadsheet ain't updated?
Yeah,
so stuff like that. Even with these apps, the productivity apps, they're only as good as it if you use them.
You gotta have a
If
discipline.
you don't tell Siri to set the alarm to get up at 4,
That's true.
Yeah. Man, look, we
it's got all the apps.
we miss a lot, mostly just because of human error and effort. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I say, man, we got more audacity than discipline.
Yeah.
We got the nerve to have a $1,500 device and then still have a problem with, you know what I'm saying, repetition, structure, discipline, being on time. Like, we all still struggle with it. There's no shortage of discipline. There's no shortage on accountability.
How much do you guys use these productivity apps like on a daily or weekly basis?
I got a calendar.
And what do you use?
I use Google Calendar a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, at a minimum, all of us use Google Calendar. We accept an invite for whatever the show is going to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we had some engagement with that. I use my timer on my phone all the time. I set reminders, you know, with the timer as well. No matter whatever, there's so many different ways you can set reminders.
Yeah.
I use my GPS app, Waze, even if I know where I'm going, because sometimes you got to be able to look at the traffic. You got to be able to see, you know, like what's going on. What else?
Alexa.
I use about 5 or 6 different apps.
I do too. I have my week. It's called Week. That plans my days, my meetings. If I have something going on, I use my Ralph's for shopping. I use that all the time.
What is Ralph? Is that like a store up there?
Yeah, a store. Yeah, like, you know, for the deals. Yeah, I use that too. So yeah, I use, you know, I got my Verizon app, pay my bills on it and everything like that. All the apps I pay my bills with, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, and it's my alarm clock too. My alarm clock and.
Yeah. I mean, I use productivity apps, but I also have a calendar that I write on too. Like, that's hanging right above my dresser. So that way the first thing that I see when I wake up is my calendar. And then actually, to keep it real, I really don't even touch my phone until it's time for me to go to the gym. Because I used to have a horrible habit of picking up my phone and logging directly into social media and getting lost. And then an hour and a half is wasted. You understand what I'm saying? So with me, my phone is normally on my dresser. It's not next to my bed because I have to get up to turn my alarm off. And since I'm up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same here. I'm with Chris. I have to physically get out of the bed to cut my alarm off. I learned that trick a long time ago, man.
Man, my body wakes up without the alarm clock though.
Yeah, I'd be up before my alarm.
Yeah.
What's worse is when it's like 10 minutes before the alarm go off. You're like, man. Yeah. Now, I don't mind waking up. If it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, I'll wake up and I just got to pee or something and get back in the bed. Like, I'm cool with that. But I don't like waking up, you know, 15 minutes before the alarm and having to pee then. I'm just like, man.
Yeah.
It's so disrespectful.
The pit when the piss is disrespectful. Next week on Elevator Dialogue.
I'm pretty much not gonna be here for that show. I don't want to talk about that, y'all, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna bow out gracefully.
It's gonna be me and Antoine next week.
I talk about
I knew I'd get one.
That little glass of water that messes you up.
No, the longer this conversation goes, the less interest I have.
What was getting me was all that water. I was busting down. I've been busting down some watermelon this summer, man.
Yeah.
And I'm eating like a quarter of a watermelon at night before I go to sleep.
I get about close to a gallon of water in, you know what I'm saying, on a regular.
Just from watermelon?
No, not from watermelon. Just water in general, you know what I'm saying? Because like going into that sauna, and I had to take my water with me because if you're gonna be in there, the way you survive it is water. So it forces me to consume as much water as I need because your muscles need water in order to be great and to have a good workout. Like when you start running out of, you know what I'm saying, hydration, you're gonna run out of performance. So your check engine light is gonna come on.
All right. So we about to roll out, but before we do, I want to take a couple of minutes and hit up our um, final thoughts, and then we're gonna roll. I'm just gonna start with Antoine, and then we go Chris, and then Vic. All right, hold on. I'm a solo. I'm a solo dolo, y'all.
This was a great episode. I think time management is one of the key things to men's productivity. It saved me a lot of headache, and I think if you get on a good program and balance out your day, but make your priority, what exactly keeps that roof over your head, make that priority, and then time manage everything else after that. But time management and in a man's productivity is key. It is key to everyday living. That's all I want to say.
I'm going to say the same thing that I said earlier. My final thought is simple. It is being productive as a man is essential, but, and coach says this all the time, don't be a human being and not a human doing. You are more than what you produce. I guess that's my final thought.
So, unleashing your potential, mastering male productivity. One of the most important things about this topic is that we didn't discuss a whole lot of, and Chris hinted towards it. But one of the key components in this is sexual discipline. Say it all the time. Controlling yourself and who you connect with and where your energy goes is going to affect the outcome of what you're trying to accomplish. So if you have more time invested in sexually undisciplined behavior, you're going to get outcomes that reflect that energy. So one of the first keys to a man being able to master his potential and his male productivity is making sure he ain't being sexually undisciplined and reproducing with the wrong people, with the wrong motivations, and with the wrong momentum. So there's a positive and a negative version of whatever you choose to commit your energy to. So make sure you're doing something that captures who you are in a positive light, and you'll get the maximized results of what you set out to do.
When it comes to mastering male productivity, it's more than just one thing. It's focus, it's mindset, along with a number of other things that may have been said today on the show. With that being said, I think that it's important that men try their best to be the best versions of themselves in a lot of different ways. And what I mean by that is this, and it may be different for everybody, but what are you doing with your physical health? What are you doing with your finances? What are you doing in your personal life with your kids or your wife or your significant other or whoever you with? I think it's important that those things be separate, and at the same time, if they're separate and you're productive in each one, I think it will make for an overall better version of yourself and overall more productive person. And that's my final thought for today. And with that being said, gentlemen, if y'all don't have anything else to say, well, actually, let me back up real quick. First of all, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat or everybody who's watching on this platform or any other platform, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, whether it's on my channel or my show or Antoine or whoever out there, whatever platform or whoever channel you're on. I appreciate you and I thank you for stopping by here with us this afternoon. And I think y'all got anything before we roll out? All right, man. Hey, I appreciate all y'all brothers being up here, supporting the channel and the show and all those different things like that. And until next week, folks, we are out.